Hey, what's up, everyone? We're here today with Rutgers wide receiver Shameen Jones, who was a captain on the 2022 team from Bronx, New York. Shameen currently sits sixth in the program history for career appearances of 50 plus games during his career at Rutgers. Just wanted to take the opportunity, interview Shameen, give him a chance to let scouts, evaluators who might watch this video to get a opportunity to understand who he is as a person, get a better feel for what his character is like. Obviously, you could throw on the tape and kind of get a feel for him that way. But nowadays everybody kind of wants to have a better understanding of what somebody's character is like. So, kind of just wanted to give him this opportunity. So yeah, how are you doing, Shameen?
I'm doing really well, man. How you doing?
Good, good. Can't complain. So yeah, I mean, let's get started. Do you want to, let us know where you're from? Walk us through your journey a little bit.
All right, well, I'm originally from Bronx, New York, born and raised in Uptown, Edenwald, Baychester Projects area. Uh, kind of started out my first athletic career playing basketball. Came up, wasn't really too much into it because it wasn't physical enough. Kept getting called a lot of fouls on. So then I got into football. Then I started playing for the North Bronx Cowboys. That was my first youth football team. Spent like a couple years there to maybe I was like 11 or 12. Then I started playing for the Bronx River Bulldogs. And from there, it's been history.
Gotcha. I mean, do you want to tell us a little bit about kind of what your high school experience was like, and then kind of how you got to Rutgers?
So I went to Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx. It's an all boys Catholic school, kind of right down the block from Yankee Stadium. But high school was pretty cool. It was different for me because I went to an all boys school. It wasn't something I was originally used to. Growing up, I always wanted to be around all the girls and stuff like that. But going to all boys school, it kind of helped me like focus up, be more locked into the athletics part of it. Did play three sports. I did basketball my freshman year, uh, and football, and then the next 3 years I did football and track.
Okay.
So my major high school career was pretty good. I think I finished out my varsity season with 1,600 yards. After 1 year, though, I only played my
Wow.
junior year of high school. After my junior year, I tore my ACL this summer before my senior year, and I
Wow.
missed the whole season except the championship and the state championship game.
So you only really had one full season in a way, right? Your junior year is what you're saying, or
Yeah, yeah, but
wow.
in Catholic school we have like your first year you're on the freshman team. It's not like a JV and
Yeah.
varsity. It's freshman, JV, and varsity. So I played freshman JV, but I only had 1 year on varsity.
Wow. So was it I mean, I know you said you're from Bronx and stuff like that. Was that a big part why you kind of stayed home, stayed at Rutgers, or was family big to you, or kind of that was just the best opportunity?
For me, it was really family. Uh, at the time, it was kind of the best opportunity and my family because I had the option between Rutgers or Indiana,
Mhm.
and I was just coming off the ACL tear, so a lot of my other offers they kind of just got real quiet. So
Gotcha.
between those two choices, which is like, should I be close to my family? I just came off an injury. I don't really feel 100% confident about myself yet, or should I just go fly away and just take the risk? Well, I just decided to stay close.
Okay, gotcha. Um, so I mean, there's obviously plenty of different types of receivers out there in the NFL currently. I mean, past or present, is there like a player that you kind of mold your game after, or kind of like look up to as you were kind of coming along your playing career?
Hmm. I think my earlier years, I used to look up to AJ Green a lot, like his
Okay,
play style, the way he attacked the football, just his route running. He just seemed so smooth, so swift. It's like nowadays everybody wants to be like Odell Beckham. um, it's very hard to do that. But I feel like now I just kind of just focus more on bettering myself as a player. I don't feel like I look up to anybody now, more so
hmm,
because I feel like I'm just as equal as they are, or I can do what they do.
yep,
Especially because now we're at that point where I'll be playing with those guys.
yeah,
It's kind of different now.
yep. Um, yeah, AJ Green on the Bengals was different.
Yeah, he was nuts. He was outstanding.
So what was so kind of give us a little bit more info, kind of what your time was like at Rutgers. Know you've been there for I believe 4 or 5 years, right? I mean, what was that experience like? How did
Yeah.
all that go for you?
So really, it was like 6 years, 'cause you
Okay.
don't really count the redshirt year.
Oh yes, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was an interesting ride. I mean, Rutgers was always tough. We always have the hardest schedules. We always was going against the best top programs. But it was kind of like a roller coaster for me because I had a different offensive coordinator for like my last 4 years. I had
Okay.
3 different head coaches. It was like every year I was learning something new. But I feel like the people I met and the coaches, they all like instilled something in me. Every year I learned something new. So it kind of like helped me better myself as a football player and
Okay.
as just on and off the field, all around person.
Gotcha. So I know you mentioned kind of so you had 4 different offensive coordinators, you're saying, right?
Right.
So between that and then like the head coaching changes, like, do you want to tell us a little bit how you were utilized differently in the offense? Maybe, I mean, yeah, I don't know if if you want to go through all 4 different coordinators, but
Yeah,
I mean, kind of
I got
overview of like how you were like utilized differently. Just to speak to your versatility, stuff like that.
I think my first 2 seasons that I played in, I was kind of more of like the X receiver, like the
Hmm.
outside single was always by myself. My third year, I kind of moved back and forth. Like I played some in the slot, some outside. This last season, like the first half of the year, I played primarily in the slot, and then they
Hmm.
moved me outside for like the last end of the year. But I think like for the most part, I just feel like I'm a versatile player. Like I can do well inside or outside. I feel like the inside gives you more freedom to run more loose. You're not really getting press coverage all the time. Outside is more of like a decision making. You got to be quick, think fast. You got to just know what you're gonna do before the defender does. But I think I like the slot a lot actually.
Okay. So I
Like
mean, you played a couple different positions, obviously, throughout your career at Rutgers. I mean, so when you're studying film, I mean, what are some things you kind of focus in on, tendencies maybe you look for, just kind of to prepare yourself for game week?
so when I'm looking at like a competitor watching film, I think I more so look at it as from a broader view, kind of look at the scheme of their defense, like what defenses they will run to our offensive personnel, what
Hmm.
formations they will run against ours. And then I kind of look at my matchups. So what tendencies do they have? Like what moves worked against that person on other teams that I could possibly just use in my game? What little different things do they do that I could just catch up on so I could know what's the next move to make? It's really
Okay.
just kind of like paying attention to the little details. It's kind of like breaking down each player or each team to really get the full aspect of how the game is going to go.
Gotcha. What was your experience like kind of getting to be, becoming a leader? Obviously, you were on the team for about 6 years, you said, kind of being a captain this year. Kind of what do you think you bring to a franchise, I guess, leadership wise, or just, as a player in the locker room?
I just feel like being a leader is kind of like you got to learn how to be a follower first. So coming into a new franchise, I feel like I'm open to learning from new people, but I'm not afraid to take charge or take the initiative. Like regardless if I'm new or not, I know right from wrong, what's supposed to happen, like what's supposed to be done. So I would never be put in a position where I don't feel too timid to speak up for myself, but I'm
Hmm.
not gonna overstep anybody above me, if that makes
Understood.
sense.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. So I know kind of in the beginning we touched on how, you're I think sixth all time in career appearances, in the Rutgers program. That's pretty big. I mean, what do you think kind of you would attribute that to? I mean, was there anything specific you were doing to keep yourself healthy and kind of producing and playing at that level?
I mean, I always took into accountability like we only have one body. There's one of my coaches, Coach Parker. He's at Ohio State now, but he used to always tell us you only have one body, so you can't get a new one. So you got to take advantage of it or take care of it while you have it. So I just kind of just always made sure like my body was never in too much pain before a game. Like I always had to make sure I felt good before going into any game. Throughout the week, I was just constantly in the training room, keeping myself just stretching, flexible. trying to just keep myself durable. Just it's all about longevity. The longest you can last is the more you'll play.
Gotcha. So I mean, in terms of throwing on the film, if somebody's kind of watching your tape, stuff like that, what do you think are some of the best traits that they'll see when they're watching your film?
Watching Rutgers film, a lot of blocking. I
Okay.
was definitely a heavy blocker, but I feel like route running create separation well from defenders, and I am a very selfless player. I
Okay.
do like to go make the extra play whenever I don't have the ball. Like you'll see me running downfield, always chasing down a play, or if somebody just scored, I'll probably be the first person over there to celebrate with them. Just kind of just going all out for your teammates. I feel like that's the most important thing when it comes to a football game.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's not like a sport like basketball where it could be a one man show or anything like that to an
Yeah.
extent. Um, So, I guess you kind of talked on like some of your best traits or attributes in a sense. I think it's always important kind of to understand like what a weakness is or what maybe some of your weaknesses are so you can improve on them. In your game, what do you think what do you think there's like your weaknesses may be that you're like working to improve on if there's one or two things that you maybe want to talk about?
Yeah, I watch after watching some film, like after every season, I always go back and watch the whole season. Like, what things can I work on to make myself better? Thing I noticed from last year, I did a lot of raising up and down throughout my routes. I had a tendency of like before I would make a break, I would lift up before I would drop
Okay.
my body down. So I kind of focus now more on just staying at the same level throughout the whole route and into the break. Another thing I felt like I need to work on was high point in the football.
Okay.
Like I never really got into many situations where I needed to high point the football. So I haven't really tested them in like game time situations, but that's just something I felt me personally, I just needed to work on.
Okay. So kind of, I know you've had a probably a pretty different experience than most people playing college. I mean, you've had three different coaches, four different coordinators, like you said. A lot of different like in-game experience. Like, what would you say your best memory is at Rutgers over the last couple of years?
Oof,
If you had to pick,
best
I mean,
memory.
you could pick one, two. I don't know.
Uh, oh, that's a tough one. Best memory. I would say just this past season, we had our
Okay.
first Big Ten win at home against Indiana.
Okay.
That was kind of like being that it was my last year. We haven't won a Big Ten game in our home stadium, so winning that game kind of meant a lot to me because it was just like I actually got to see how exciting it or got to be able to feel that feeling of winning at home in our conference because who would have known?
Yeah. That's funny because you were. I mean, your other option was Indiana, right? You were saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's funny. Yeah. Okay.
And it's crazy because my first career touchdown was against Indiana too.
Really? So I guess I mean you made the right choice then.
Yeah.
So I guess we've been talking a lot about football stuff like that. Tell us something fun or interesting maybe. I don't know if you have any hobbies or something a lot of people probably don't know about you.
Actually, I like to paint.
Oh, nice.
I'm actually pretty good at painting, and I cook a lot. I realized cooking became a big hobby of mine once I started moving in with people who didn't cook. Once I realized my roommates couldn't cook, I was like, all right, I got to do something,
Somebody got to
or else
throw
we were gonna be
down.
starving. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. What do you like? Do you paint more just like for stress relief, or just because it's like fun, or just something you're good at, or?
Yeah, I started painting during COVID time, so it kind of helped
Oh,
me
nice.
just relax for the most part with everything that was going on in that 2020 year, especially with the football being canceled. Like I spent a lot of time in the house, so it was just
Yeah.
some way to kill time, just be distracted, so I wouldn't be in my head too much.
Nice, nice. So I know you had your pro day a few weeks back. You want to kind of go through like how that went for you and kind of what that experience was like?
Pro day went very well, actually. I mean, I felt like I could have done a lot better. I
Okay.
wasn't the happiest with my performance, but I was grateful for the opportunity I got. Like not many people got a chance to go to pro day. There was a lot of guys who I knew who who were entering the draft, but they didn't have a pro day.
Yeah,
They
like the
didn't get
school
the
didn't have
opportunity.
one.
Yeah. So I was grateful for the opportunity. It was fun. It was definitely a scary experience, but like I felt like once I got out there, I kind of like zoned everything out. It was
Okay,
kind of like almost like a tunnel vision, like a video, like we was actually in a game. It was just like I was the only person there until
gotcha.
to the end of the day when you start hearing all the numbers, you're like, oh damn, I did that.
Yeah. So, kind of tell us a little bit about what your pre-draft, pre-pro day training was like. Where were you training at, and how was all of that?
My process was very different, I would
Okay.
say. Uh, I was intended to go train in Florida,
Okay.
but I didn't have the finances to do so. So I started my
Okay.
pro day training actually late. I didn't start training till January 16th, like midway through
Oh,
January.
wow.
Yeah. Didn't really know where I was going to go to train. It was either
Hmm.
I go to Florida, but it was too expensive, so I couldn't afford it. So I spent a lot of time just moping in the house trying to figure things out. But this one woman gave me an opportunity. Her name is Alex Batista. With Lex Performance, we trained at the Fit Factory in Inglewood, New Jersey.
Okay.
She gave me a shot, gave me an opportunity. She believed in what I could do, and she helped me out any way possible. I greatly appreciate her for that. Shout out to
Yeah.
Lex. Yeah, she helped me out a lot. I didn't really have the money to go to any of the big names, so I had to stay local and just do the best I could. But we had did a lot of good work. It was a great experience. I met a lot of people. She introduced me to a lot of different people who could help benefit me in the future. So greatly appreciative of that.
Nice, man. Yeah, I mean, kind of, get it done some way somehow, but that's great. I mean, there's people out there who just kind of always want to lend a helping hand sometimes, stuff like that. So,
Yeah, for sure. She
um,
blessed up.
yeah. So, kind of let's start wrapping it up. I'll ask, probably a few more questions. So, obviously, like you said, you had some injuries in high school, and I mean, throughout football, you everybody kind of has their own challenges in that, but then also in life. How do you kind of handle your challenges? Do you lean on your family, or kind of what's that like?
I'm big on communicating when things are going wrong. I feel
Okay.
like my earlier years of college, I've kind of held everything in because of where I come from. Coming
Hmm.
from the Bronx, New York, you don't really want to open up to people. You don't trust a lot
Hmm.
of people. So when I did get to school, that's how I was. I didn't really make a lot of friends besides the football players on the team. And I think as the time went on, during COVID, I ended up getting a therapist that
Okay.
helped me a lot, helped me open up, being able to communicate, understand the way I was feeling, even when I was going through a couple of the little nicks and bruises throughout the season when things wasn't going well. I had somebody to speak to that wasn't football related. So going to my family, I feel like going to my family was kind of difficult as well because they don't understand everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can explain an issue to your family or your mother or father, and they'll just tell you like everything's gonna be okay, you're
Yeah.
great, things like that. But that's not really the reality of the situation. So I mean, therapy definitely helped me a lot. It kind of gave me the opportunity to feel like I can open up my and express myself to a complete stranger.
Yeah. I think that's like, I mean, that's super important. I mean, obviously it's something more people kind of are talking about now, but like you said, like a lot of times when you're growing up and stuff, like especially playing football, you're expected kind of to be like not like a
The tough
superhuman, but
guy.
you know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean that's great that kind of you've been able to lean on that and you're like comfortable talking about that and everything like that. So I obviously you played in a bunch of different offensive schemes, stuff like that. If you had to pick your favorite route, what would it be and why?
Favorite route. Phew. We actually had a shake route. It was like
Okay.
a deep over return. And I feel like it was just like the best route. It kind of like beat everything, like man coverage, cover four. Cover four is basically man, but like any too high shell, too deep, any man, like it was unstoppable because everybody would always bite for the deep over route. And then once
Mhm.
you broke out, everybody was lost.
Gotcha.
Just like the perfect, because especially if you get out the break fast enough, it just gives you a perfect separation from everybody.
Gotcha. Okay. And then kind of, let's give you, I guess, one last opportunity. Give your last pitch, in a sense, to scouts and evaluators, and that might be watching this video.
Well, just gonna let you guys know, if you guys pick me, you'll get a selfless player. I'm gonna come in the building, go to work every day without complaining. It's hard work and all about the program, just focusing on just getting better every single day. Take your shot. I'm playing special teams too.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, appreciate you coming on doing the interview. Wishing you the best of luck the next week or so here with the draft coming up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hoping this helps, and it really gives scouts and people in different franchises an opportunity to get a feel for who you are as a person and what your character's like.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. For real.
No problem, man.